Foreigners and visitors, for the first time arriving to Vietnam, often read or search info about the country before booking tickets. It is difficult to get the real answers concerning Vietnamese average salary, house leasing, and living costs. The statistics of GDP per capita by WB or IMF have few meanings because the real living conditions depend on many factors: tax system, house inheritance, unofficial income. In this video clip we try to supply to them the basic concerned information. In big cities, in general, unskilled workers get $291 a month without counting the extra working hours. The monthly salary is a bit lower in small cities but not more than 10%. If the workers have 2 or 3 overtime hours a day, they can get $408 a month. Engineers or university graduated can get from $400 to $500 a month but rarely exceeding $625. Lowest salary workers as cleaners or security guards earn only $208, most of them are old people. The supervisors or managers can get more than $833, but they must speak fluently English or work in foreign invested companies. Hello friends and viewers, Vietnam Facts and Figures is a channel to introduce to the foreigners and visitors the real life in Vietnam. Our statistics are updated and trusted. If the average European salary is roughly $2,000 to $2,200 a month, the Vietnamese salary is only 10%. And if the Chinese average salary is about $1,100, the salary in Vietnam is 25%, but, in fact, it is not so bad as consumer goods and services in Vietnam is maybe the cheapest in the world. According to the personal income tax policy in 2023, the threshold is more than $448 and in fact 80% Vietnamese people do not pay this tax. Vietnamese people often have breakfast outside or buy in takeaway shops on going to the factory or offices. Few prepare the meal and eat at home. Fortunately, there are many restaurants, shops, and street vendors along the sidewalk on the road to work and it is very cheap. The price of a typical breakfast, one bowl of soup called pho or one local sandwich called banh mi varies from $0.6 to $1.2 and a cup of cafe is half a dollar. Factories normally offer to their workers free lunch and it costs about $1 but most say it is good enough. Vietnamese people prepare and have only dinner at home and the expenses are not more than $1.6 to $2. House leasing budget. If the food is not a big question for the workers, living conditions are not good or under the minimum standard. Workers coming from far provinces must lease the shoes box apartments or poor motels. Normally a shoes box apartment is limited at 15 to 24 square meters and they have to pay from $41 to $62 a month. There is almost everything in this room: kitchen, toilet and a bed. Engineers and university graduated people have a better house leasing. They can pay about $208 per month for a 50 square meter house leasing. A such apartment of 50 square meter in big cities, as you see on the screen, is from $291 to $375 depending of having home furniture or not. %90 of Vietnamese people use their motors going to work. If you run 30 kilometers a day or 1,000 kilometers a month, the petrol expenses are about $20 to $25. The price of a petrol is less than $1 a liter. The telephone fees and internet in Vietnam are also very cheap, a monthly budget of $4 is enough. The electricity and water fees for a single are from $8.5 to $12.5 a month. Vietnam is a tropical country so people do not use the heater in winter, but if you use the air conditioner in summer you have to pay from $8 to $10 a month. In summary, a Vietnamese single pay from 35% to 40% of monthly salary for foods, 15% to 20% for house leasing, 10% for transport, electricity and water. We all know that the Vietnamese average salary is not high, but most of them save money to buy high-grade smartphone of Samsung or latest model iPhone. In fact, they need saving 5 months of salary to buy it. They also spend big sum of money to buy a motorbike. A medium-class motorbike costs $1,600 to $1,800 and it represents from 5 to 6 months of hard working. If you want to buy an apartment in big cities as Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, how much does it cost? Its price is at least $1,250 a square meter or $62 500 to $75,000 for an apartment of 50 to 60 square meters. During the last decade, among the 10 best jobs that hunted by the youths figure business management or marketing, accounting and finances. They also like working in informatics sciences and software sector. It is surprised that the job of medicine is not highly paid as in Western countries. Doctors working in state hospitals are badly paid while the training time is at least 10 years. Most Vietnamese students' tuition fees and the living expenses during studying period are financed by their parents, so they have not debt after university as in Western countries. The disadvantage of this Oriental aspect is they depend too much of their parents and not autonomous as their peers in Western countries. There are many foreigners working in Vietnam as engineers, economists or experts in the foreign invested companies. In a country where the living costs are cheap, they are the kings. There are also many international schools for their children. Teachers of native English are very demanded in Vietnam. The salary varies between $1,000 to $2,000 depending on the diploma degree they own. In big cities, it is easy to get a job. Extra working hours is an important revenue of workers in Vietnam as it is paid from 150 to 200% comparing to normal rate. Vietnamese workers like working overtime as it can represent in many cases 30 or 40% of principal income. Doctors and nurses after working in state hospitals can work in private clinics and they get more than the official salary. These earnings are normally paid cash, so they do not pay personal tax. Teachers also give extra courses to students, and like doctors, they do not pay tax. Many Vietnamese have the unofficial income more than the official, and that's why they can buy car, house and love the country. Long live Vietnam! Vietnam Facts and Figures is a channel to introduce to the foreigners and visitors the real life in Vietnam. Our statistics are updated and trusted.